Hey babes, another go, another flow. Check in, take a deep breath. Remember the divine power and source within as we go into this little parable, this little idea we're gonna think about today. We're gonna dive into today. We're gonna embody. Think about your consciousness as being a strainer, a sifter. And your consciousness is malleable. You can change it and it can pick up and catch different aspects of life. What would you be shifting your sifter to catch? What would you be creating and holding the space for? I was thinking about this when I was paying attention to certain things, and I was reading a book and it was talking about how a child, could never catch what he wanted in his little sand shifter. And I thought, hey, that's literally like life, but we have the power to change our sifter or get a new one. And I believe it's like we're given one, and it's designed by our environments, the people around us, our experiences mold it. But we forget the fact that we can change it to hold on to and to catch the things that it is that we truly desire, that we truly have the heart for. And it's really crazy because it can be so freaking easy to fall into the idea that everything's so set in stone, that everything's a certain way for a reason. And that can be true, but in a lot of cases, if we're feeling unsatisfied, it's an invitation to change and to adjust our shifter or sifter. So what are you catching in your sifter? Whoa. When we get to know ourselves, we're better equipped at creating a sifter that aligns with our life. Truly, that is the strongest foundation, is the relationship one has to oneself. You could create this entire life that looks so satisfying and so successful on the outside, yet it can be something so totally inauthentic. And only you would know that. That's the trippy part. Only you know when life is not providing, when it's not giving what you need. And so the more that we're able to tap in and to realize that, it asks us to be vulnerable. That's another huge piece, is that it takes vulnerability and trust to kind of break down a system that has been materially giving us what we want, but internally not fulfilling us. And you can make your cake and eat it too. And sometimes it's easy to apply these little ideals. They help us understand the tools that we have accessible to us. We have consciousness. We have such a high level of awareness that helps us to mold this experience in a way that will fit into the entryways that we have in our mind, in our body, in our soul. And we're also the craftsmen that can change and design this system to create a life that feels destined, that is destined. So much of spirituality and, out there ideas seems so untangible. It's really hard to put our finger on. Yet when we bridge the gap between the seen and the unseen and allow experiences from our lives to guide us into that deeper understanding, it all starts making sense. Things stick with us for a reason. Things make sense for a reason. Like right now, this could be making no sense to you, and that's okay. But it could be making perfect sense, and you will start connecting dots. That's what we have to pay attention to. The things that genuinely stick, that genuinely feel enlightening and light us up and make us feel full of bliss. And we have to design our life in a way that expands our capacity for those things. There's so many workings of it, but to be intentional about our time, to be intentional about our minds, and be willing to change, be willing to admit that we might be moving in the wrong direction. That's one of the hardest things, and yet one of the most rewarding ones, is just taking that time, taking that space to be like, I need to shift. This isn't working. And actually acting in that direction. Ooh, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, because when we do those things, our bodies trust ourselves more. We trust our own intuition. We trust our guidance. We trust our minds. We learn what it feels like to be in alignment. We feel what truly being alive is like. And our consciousness can get so weighed down, but it will never truly be infiltrated, because it's just a fluid flow from the beyond, from the divine, from God. And that is something that can never truly be manipulated. It will always be there for us. And what we have to do is understand what aligns with it. Just like that sifter, you know, it will never be, its purpose will always be true. Its purpose will always be there. But the way in which that purpose is played out in our lives, that's what we're changing. Moving with our own guidance, our own knowing. That's the key. Even though we're group beings, or community beings, we have to prioritize what we know deep inside is best. And a lot of times it doesn't make logical sense. You know, changing that sand whatever, the shit sifter, it doesn't always make sense to the next guy, or even it doesn't even always make sense to the people closest to you. It doesn't even make sense necessarily to you logically. But when you get to know that feeling, it will never, ever, 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 ever let you down. And the mind can be very manipulative, very, very manipulative. And we kind of get in this cycle of self-manipulation where we listen to that voice inside of our head that isn't us, and we act on it. What is that voice, honestly? I don't know, but I know it's not me. And so realize that you have this powerful tool of consciousness that is going to pick and choose what to focus on, what to hold on to, what energy to embody, what to notice, what to attract, what to move with, what to live in alignment with. And that consciousness is just a reflection on your perspective of life. And when you start fundamentally changing that perspective of life, you see that play out in your reality. Just like when you go to a batch of sand and you pull that sifter under, and you lift up and you shake it, it's going to catch certain things that do not fall in the little crevices of the sifter. It holds on to those things. Just like a strainer. The strainer catches the things that cannot fall through, that don't continue moving. Things are happening around you all the time. You're only noticing and paying attention to the things that you're catching in your strainer, your consciousness. And recognize that it takes time to really make those foundational changes, but you will never be left out to dry. You will see it, even if it's the littlest shift. You will see it, you will feel it, you will remember it, and that makes all the difference. Yes, yes, yes. My babes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm really going to ponder this idea, you know? Our consciousness is a true tool, a very powerful one, and may we use it for our highest good and attune it to the frequency that feels the most true. Speak it into existence, babe. All right, thank you so much, fam. I will see you next time.